Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ.
Aloha, I'm Lara Sato, a HIKI NŌ student from Castle High School in Windward, Oahu.
And I'm Zaccai Ceruti, a HIKI NŌ student from James Campbell High School in Ewa, Oahu.
We're your hosts for the special presentation of stories nominated in the 2017 HIKI NŌ Awards.
For the past 6 weeks, Lara and I and other HIKI NŌ students have been showcasing stories nominated in various categories.
All the stories that aired in HIKI NŌ during the 2015-16 school year and during the fall semester of this current school year were eligible to be nominated.
The stories that received nominations were selected by PBS Hawaii's HIKI NŌ editorial board based on a set of very strict and specific criteria.
You can check out all of the nominations for the 2017 HIKI NŌ Awards at pbshawaii.org/HIKI NŌ.
Veterans from Hawaii's journalism, broadcasting, and film and TV production industries have been viewing the nominated stories and are scoring them based on the same criteria used in the nomination process. These judges' scores will be added up, and the nominee with the highest score in a given category will be declared the winner of that category.
The winner of each category will receive $1,000 worth of video equipment for their school's media program. The HIKI NŌ Awards are school, not individual awards.
Find out who the winners are by tuning into our special HIKI NŌ Award show, Thursday, March 23rd at 7:30, right here on PBS Hawaii.
So let's get down to today's category because it's the big one.
That's right! It's the category in which all of the skills developed in HIKI NŌ come together. Best Overall Story High School Division.
These stories represent the finest in visual storytelling by Hawaii high school students, and they'll be scored by the judges based on the following criteria.
Did the nominee tell a compelling, informative story?
Did they use an effective combination of imagery, the written word, interview sound bites, and natural sound?
Was the pacing, in terms of the editing and the speed of the reporters speaking, appropriate to the story being told? Was the reporter's presentation clear and commanding?
Did the story offer something of relevance to the general public? Did it follow good journalistic practices?
So, let's see how the nominees for Best Overall Story High School Division measure up to these very tough criteria.
Our first nominated story comes from H.P. Baldwin High School in Wailuku, Maui.
Its topic is very current, the closing of the very last sugar operation in Hawaii and the end of an era that shaped modern-day Hawaii.
Nominated for Best Overall Story High School Division, here is Life After Sugar from H.P. Baldwin High School.
I think that type of camaraderie is what I appreciate working in where I'm at HCNS.
The Hawaii Commercial and Sugar Mill along Pu'unene Avenue, Maui, is a reminder of an industry that once dominated Hawaii's economy. Standing since 1882, the factory has employed generations of workers in production and in fields. Wes Bisson, a machinist, followed his father's path to working at HCNS.
I started for the company in 1981. I started in Paia Mill. My family, they are from Paia. It's kind of nice working there, where my family works. The company's been open for 144 years. My dad worked there, and I wanted to do the same thing he did.
Koa Martin, a millwright, also has family working for the company.
My grandfather worked here. He was an irrigator, then he retired after 40 some odd years service. My father worked there for about 16 years. He was a heavy equipment mechanic, and then I started here 20 years ago.
After losing $30 million in 2015, Hawaii Commercial and Sugar announced its plans to phase out sugar production and shut down operations by the end of 2016. 675 workers, including Bisson and Martin, will lose their jobs.
People are uneasy as to what's going to happen and how they're going to make their ends meet. A lot of people here are homeowners, and they have to pay their mortgages. They have to provide for their college education, the kids. But we'll be out there looking for a job just like anybody else.
But while the future is uncertain, the workers of HCNS won't be alone in their struggle to adapt to such change. the Maui County and Hawaii state governments are working to create a social safety net to support the laid-off workers.
I'd like to say thank you to the Maui County, the state, Governor HIKI, for helping us, helping the people transition into something new. And I'm going to put all my efforts into that.
I'll be just like everybody else out there looking for another job. But in the meantime, until my time is up, I'm going to be here focusing on what I need to get done to keep this factory running, make it home safe every night to my kids, and pay my bills.
You know, it's sad that they're going to close, but we are big boys, okay? We got to focus on how it's going to affect everybody, and, you know, just try to build a better life from here on.
With the closing of HCNS comes the end of a chapter in Hawaii's history. This is Chanel Makareg from HP Baldwin High School for HIKI NŌ.
As you have just seen, one of the workers featured in this story, Mr. Bisson, passed away between the time it first aired and now. Our sincerest condolences go out to the family and friends of Mr. Bisson. Zaccai, what are your thoughts about life after sugar?
Well, that was the question they've been trying to ask. What is life after sugar? For them, sugar plantation was all they know. As far as work, they grew up there, their parents, their grandparents all grew up there. So to see that part of their history being shut down, it's like, where do we go from here? You know, trying to find new jobs, all those people. As far as criteria, it was very compelling and tragic.
This is a very personal story about an event that has changed Maui and all of Hawaii forever. Now our next nominated story is by students at Kapa High School on Kauai.
It's about the special bond between two brothers who have joined forces to battle a commonly held stereotype.
Nominated for Best Overall Story High School Division, let's take a look at Iloreta brothers from Kapa High School.
My brother Jason and I are going to run a half marathon.
Are you ready? You think that's 13 miles. That's double what we did.
Ever since high school, Josh Iloreta has wanted to run in a marathon. His younger brother Jason is helping him to fulfill that dream.
We decided to do these runs after being inspired by Dick and Rick Hoyt. He's been actually running with his son who has cerebral palsy in triathlons, marathons, all these different races for a number of years already. My ability, I'm not my disability, highlights someone's capabilities, someone's human abilities. It's a campaign that Josh and I sort of thought about when we decided to run marathons. If a person can't communicate, but they can show how to love, how to laugh, like that's the most important part in life. I think the number one hardship or the number one difficulty for someone with special needs is breaking that barrier that society has, that misconception that because you have special needs or because you have a diagnosis that you are limited to certain things. With my brother, people automatically think that he can't understand what people are saying or that he can't really move about. What people don't understand is that they're all there. They're consciously there. Their cognitive abilities are still there. They just can't maybe speak or walk.
I like to swim and go bowling. I love listening to music.
He likes to just go to the mall and just hanging out at Starbucks or having lunch or just hanging out, doing brotherly things. He comes to my room and wants to sleep in, so he'll tell me to lay him on my bed and he can sleep in. You like these? Yeah?
The Iloreta brothers have motivated many people to speak up and share their support for what they are doing.
The boys, the Iloreta brothers, definitely make a difference. They have inspired me. I am so touched by what they do each day, and for them to complete their dream and their accomplishment is amazing.
When asked what message they would give to someone going through similar difficulties, Josh and Jason wanted to tell everyone,
Don't give up on their dream and just go for IT.
The moments that you sacrifice, things that you sacrifice for, and the moments you spend with this person, that is making a difference in their lives. That is making their world feel less small.
This is Kiara Weatherington from Kapa High School for HIKI NŌ.
Now that's what I call brotherly love. Lara, How did you feel about the Iloreta brothers story?
Well, I thought it was a very personal story, and it showcased the program I Am My Ability and Not My Disability, and it showed that people with disabilities can do what everyday people can do.
Yes, you see him around the house grabbing his own clothes and saying what he likes to do, like running a marathon, go to the mall, listen to music.
I agree.
Now, our next story in this category is by students at Konawaena High School on Hawaii Island.
It's a story about how love survives the good times and through the very tough, sad times.
Nominated for Best Overall Story High School Division, the appropriately titled A Love Story from Konawaena High School.
I was lucky to have a partner that was that great. I don't think going into a relationship with a partner, knowing the partner cares about you, and your partner becomes your best friend. And so when we started out, we were together 31 years. Over the 31 years, 6 years ago, or maybe 5 years ago, he asked me to marry him. And I said, married? Why do we have to get married? Well, it makes things legal, makes things easy. So in case something happens, you get something out of the marriage, like any normal couple. I agreed to that. We were married at 1201 down at Keoho Beach, and we had about 60 people there. All of our friends from the mainland and Honolulu came in and took part in this wedding. I mean, here we are at 1201, the fireworks were going. We had Chinese, everything you can possibly think to celebrate this wedding. It was awesome. He had a disease, and it had nothing to do with AIDS. And it was a disease, I can't remember what it was called, but it started from his foot on up. And it started when he was young. He played tennis. And for some reason he had an injury that never went away, and so it kind of creeped up on his legs. It was something it kept poking at him like needles. And he was going to the doctor. It was about 10 years down the line that he was suffering this whole thing. So the doctor said to him, we have to treat you with morphine. So he came home and he said to me, you know what, Jane, I will not use morphine because what they have said that I could get a heart attack, I could be an invalid, I could do this. He said, I don't want it. So surprisingly enough, he didn't do that. So 2 weeks later is when the pain was so severe that it got up to his heart and he couldn't take it anymore. Richard committed suicide, he hung himself. And then when I called the paramedics and I went ballistic. So the police officers came up and they said to me, Uncle Bucky, what's happening? I said, it's over there. The two officers looked at him and started to cry. You know, losing a partner after having a partner and a friend for 30-odd years, you're lost in the world without somebody you can actually share and talk to. I mean, we shared so many things, and it's difficult, it really is. I mean, you know, 5 years has gone, but it's still not the same. I don't think it'll ever be the same. Not unless there's a lucky star that falls in front of me and say, come on, let's go.
Wow, what an intense story. Zaccai, what did you think of A Love Story?
Well, I thought it was very powerful, you know. You see these two people who have been together for 30 years and then one of them passes away. It's kind of a tragic loss, and you can see that being told through the story.
And I thought it was really interesting how they didn't use a narrator and they told the entire story by one central character.
Yes.
Coming up next, a story from Maui High School in Kahului, Maui.
It's about a Maui high school cheerleader who has what some would call a disability, a label she vehemently shuns.
Nominated for Best Overall Story, High School Division, this is Deaf Cheerleader from Maui High School.
Maui High School junior varsity cheerleader, Chantel Sandoval, spends her weekends spreading cheer. But what makes this extraordinary is the fact that Chantel is legally deaf. Here is Chantel speaking through an interpreter.
I was just born that way. When my mother gave birth to me, she almost died. And then, I don't know, I became deaf.
Her deafness, however, has not denied her from pursuing her dream of cheering in front of a crowd.
Cheering was something I always wondered about, and I just wanted to know if I could make the team.
However, Chantel's journey to becoming a cheerleader for her school was not an easy one, even with the help of sign language interpreters who helped facilitate communication between Chantel and her coach.
Because anybody else I can yell, point your toes, lift your shoulders, keep your head up, anything like that. But if I try to yell at her to do those things, she doesn't understand, or she doesn't hear me. So that's the biggest thing, is just trying to get her to really understand what I'm saying.
As of recently, hearing her teammates and coaches just became easier, thanks to the help of a cochlear implant, a surgically implanted medical device that provides a sense of sound to a person who is deaf or severely hard of hearing.
Before I got my cochlear, I could still speak for myself, and I used hearing aids, but still, it was still hard for me, and I would miss a lot of the information. And many people would talk and probably speak behind me, and I could understand that. Since I've got cochlear, I can understand them a little bit more, and my hearing is improving.
While cochlear has made cheering an easier task for Chantel, the negative stigma surrounding deaf people still remains.
Many people feel very awkward, and they avoid deaf people, and they don't offer help like in a store. They tend to just ignore you. I feel really hurt. I feel like insulted. And just because I'm deaf, it doesn't mean that I'm ignorant.
Though Chantel has to navigate around these obstacles, she embraces the fact that she is deaf.
No, deaf people can do anything. It doesn't matter if they can't hear. Just like hearing people, what if they couldn't walk? Or if they couldn't, does that mean they can't do anything? No, they can do anything with a wheelchair. It's the same thing for deaf people. We can't hear, but we can do anything we want.
But Chantel wants to make one thing clear. Do not call her impaired.
Well, I don't like the word impaired. It means something's broken. And I'm not broken, I'm only deaf, and I was born that way. Don't call me hearing impaired, call me deaf.
Chantel Sandoval is living proof that a communication challenge does not have to keep anyone off the sidelines. She plans to continue to spread the Sabre spirit as loud as she can. This is Sydney Green from Maui High School for HIKI NŌ.
That was really insightful on what it's like to be deaf. Lara, what did you think?
Well, the storyteller showed how she's not hearing impaired, she's deaf, and the imagery supported that by showing that she's able to communicate with her classmates and she's able to be in sync with her cheerleading squad.
I see what you mean. Now, the final story nominated in this category comes from Waianae High School in West Oahu.
It puts a human face on a chronic problem that is too often discussed only in terms of numbers and statistics.
Nominated for Best Overall Story, High School Division, here is Without Home from Waianae High School.
For me, it's a community. It's not just an encampment. Yeah, we all watch over the area, the kids, make sure everybody's okay. Yeah, this place is about, you can come rest your head and you know you're gonna be okay.
Each morning, 19-year-old Adam Naki has something to do.
You gotta haul your own water. You gotta make sure you buy your own generator so you get electricity for charge all your things. I say 3 minute break. Always cleaning, 24/7.
Adam is homeless. She has moved 12 times before finally settling here at Hale'aole in Waianae. While situations like this aren't ideal, residents believe it's a good place.
Yes, this community needs to be united to function well, only because living in this community, coming together, everybody has to get along.
According to the National Alliance to End Homelessness, Hawaii has the highest number of homeless people relative to their population. It's an issue that has divided the state for a while now.
That's the problem, is there's not enough Section 8 vouchers, there's not enough public housing units, and there's not enough low-cost rentals out there. So people end up just cycling back, and then they're back homeless, back in the shelters.
There's no one reason why people fall in homelessness. They, had an unexpected situation happen in their life that just tipped them over the edge, where they were no longer able to financially support themselves or their family.
Is that a game?
It's not easy to find a solution to this ever-increasing problem, but so far, Hale'aole's residents have been making the most out of their situation.
For instance, a person were to move in. They had no place to go. They would come here, they would talk to my mom Twinkle, and my mom would find them a spot. They would put up their tent. If they need help putting it up, we would come in and help them with that.
Over several years, residents have been building their homes from the ground up. In many cases, it's become the foundation for something more than a fresh start.
They've been encamped there for quite several years now. One thing that's good about it in a way is that they're self-policed to some extent.
To me, you gotta set morals out here. It's no different than being in a house. Our material is different. Yeah, it's not a wooden structure, it's made out of material.
Until the state can come to a consensus about the issue of homelessness, Hale'aole is doing as they see fit. So far, they've been allowed to stay.
When you have more people come out and everybody functions together and they work together and they go out there, at least you're going to be heard. One for all and all for one.
For now, this is Adam's place, somewhere she can temporarily call home.
How you know if it's home is if it's your sanctuary. If you feel that you want to be there. And
This is Diamond Tuisano from Waianae High School for HIKI NŌ.
Very enlightening. Zaccai, tell me what you thought of Without Home.
Well, I thought it was very impactful, to see this problem of homelessness be a big problem back then, to be a big problem now. In the story, she talked about we need more homeless shelters and all these things, but that wasn't the message of the story. She talked about make do with what you have. You see her around the house, cleaning up, making dinner, all this stuff, and she's just saying, home is where you want to be. If you don't want to be there, it's not home.
So true. Well, that wraps up our presentation of the nominees in this very tough, highly competitive category, Best Overall Story High School Division.
It also brings to a close the series of nominee showcases for the 2017 HIKI NŌ Awards.
Zaccai, I've had a great time co-hosting these shows with you and discussing these amazing HIKI NŌ stories.
Yes, the caliber of all the stories has been incredibly impressive. I don't envy the judges. They've got some tough decisions to make.
Determining the winner of each category is a daunting task, but it will be done. And all of the winners will be announced in a special award show on March 23rd at 7:30 right here on PBS Hawaii.
Be sure to watch so you can root for your favorites.
Regardless of who wins, every nominee in every category should be applauded for their stellar work.
We'd like to acknowledge each and every one of them. So we leave you now with the names of all of the nominated schools and the names of their nominated stories.
Congratulations to them all.
And aloha.
Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ.